So today's video is going to be another in my declutter series. Today I'm going to be decluttering my books and also sort of showing you the collection that I have and what I want to become. I've just recorded 2 book reviews, so hence you might recognise this outfit. I've just recorded Tim Peake's Ask an Astronaut and also Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. So I will link those down below if I can remember, so go check those out. So let's jump right in because I feel it's going to be a long video. I'm going to sort of pick out each book rather than doing sort of a time-lapse video because those are sort of my favourite ways of seeing books, because it's also like seeing a book collection. So I'm going to change the camera angle a bit and let's head over and start decluttering. So I'll just give you a rundown of my book setup. This is all my books here. As you can see, a little behind the scenes, this is where I film. This bookcase I believe I got off Wayfair, I think. So if I can find it, I will link it down below. And it's one of those sort of leaning bookshelves which actually are really hard to put together. But I really liked the way it looked. So this is my growing pile and it has definitely grown, so I really want to just get to sorting it out. I've been putting it off for way too long. So let's start at the bottom. This is a book of books I've read which I want to get on my shelf or get rid of. That's all my to be read books. And then I have a couple miscellaneous things here which I might try and tackle as well, but aren't necessarily book related. I have a lot of like my picture and coffee table books on here, so I want to go through those. Some of them are Darren's, so obviously I won't touch those. And then I have this shelf which is actually 2 shelves back, so I want to sort that out and not have all this mess. I have a couple trinkets on here. This is a little lace thing we got in Bruges. This is well, it was my nan's that she got at Walt Disney World. And then I have a couple vintage postcards. And then as you go up, it sort of just exploded as to how high I can really fit them. So that is what we're dealing with. I'll try and step back to give you an overview. I'm going to try and be really ruthless, and I feel like I can. I'm in a really funny mood at the moment, which I might do a video on, but I'm becoming like, I want to be really, really minimalistic and just have the things that I love. And I feel like a lot of this is not sparking joy with me anymore, and hopefully I'll be able to get rid of quite a few books. Because I feel like also my tastes have really changed as to what I want to read in the past year. I'm 21 now, I'm married, a lot of these are YA books, which I know I'm probably not going to read again, so I really want to just get in, declutter it. It might be a long video, I may have to look back at like reviews that I've given books to see what I think of them, because I can't always remember. But yeah, I think probably what I'll do is take all the books off and let's just start. So I've just taken all my books off the shelf, and I feel this is really important because it just shows you like the amount of books I have, and if I was to move, all the books I'd have to take with me, which was definitely a wake-up call when we moved into this house. And actually like the room feels echoey, like more echoey now because I've taken those books off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean those shelves, and I've left that shelf alone to deal with at the end. But for now I'm going to work on all these books. I feel I'm going to have a hard time with signed books. Because they're signed, I have a tendency to want to keep them. But if I didn't particularly like the book, or I know I'm not going to read it again, then why should I hold on to it? So I might make a separate pile because they might be worth something or be more of use to someone. And also the books that I'm not keeping I will be donating to charity probably, or giving to friends just depends how many I have to get rid of and what there is. But yeah, like all my books, they're in like pristine condition, and you can tell the books that are like being secondhand or like borrowed because they're not in pristine condition. So yeah, I'm gonna clean off my shelves and I will come back to you when I start decluttering. Let's get started. First book, I'm gonna start off easy. This is Meep Geese, Anne Frank Remembered. I really like this book. It's definitely a book I can see myself reading again. Meep Geese is one of the ladies that helped Anne Frank and her family hide in the annex. So that is definitely a keep. And I'm going to just put them on my shelf for now, but then probably reorganise them in a bit. The next one is Jaws by Peter Benchley. I love the film, I read the book. The book is pretty close to the film, I'd say, and I can see myself reading this again at some point. Probably not when I'm on a holiday where it involves going in water. And next, picking up an easy book. This is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, which I've just reviewed, so obviously I'm going to keep that. And then I've got a couple books that I've just read, so I'm probably going to include in maybe a January wrap-up. I'm not quite sure when this video goes out, so that might have already happened, but I'm going to put them in a separate pile. But we've got Victor Hislop's Carte Postales from Greece. Didn't like that. The Handmaid's Tale, wasn't a big fan of that. The Sister was okay, but again, I'm not going to read it. It wasn't one of my favourite books, like mystery suspense books. It sort of put me on edge a bit, so I'll probably get rid of that. I have Henry the Queen's Corgi, which I really enjoyed. It was a light-hearted little book, and I think I'm going to keep that for the moment, just because I really enjoyed it. We have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I think I'm going to keep this one because it sort of started me off into like that suspense mystery genre, and I really liked it, so I will keep that for now. And after I've gone through all these books, I may go through them again just to sort of narrow them down further, so we shall see. We've got one by Sarah Crossan. Trying to just sort of remember what this book is about. I can't really remember it that well, and the writing is very distinctive. So I think I'm going to put that in a side pile, and because I know I've done a book review on this, go and watch that back and see what I thought of it. We have Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. This is the only Dear John book that I've kept in quite a while, and I've not read it for a while. And I know it's sad, and I don't like to watch the film because it's sad, so why would I want to read the book when it's sad? I think I'm going to pass this on. I don't think I can see myself reading that again. We have The Memory Book by Rowan Coleman. I remember rating this really highly because it's sort of about dementia and about creating memories. I think I will put this in the maybe pile. I'm not quite sure whether I will actually get around to reading that again or if I want to keep it. Then we have Faceless by Alyssa Schoenmill. I know I've done a review on this as well, so I'll try and link as many sort of book reviews down below as I can. And this is about a girl whose face is burnt in an accident and she needs a face transplant. I really quite enjoyed reading this. I think it's definitely a book that I would come back to because it's so different, so I will keep that. Then we have Room by Emma Donoghue. Definitely keeping this. I loved it, love the film. Very, very good book. We have my two astronaut books, which again I've recently reviewed. So we've got Tim Peake and Mike Massimino, keeping those. We have The Help by Catherine Stockett. I haven't read this in a really long time and I did enjoy it when I read it. I think I might start rereading some of these books and then deciding then if I want to keep it or not. But I think I'll keep it because I know it's a good book and I liked it. And the film, everyone always knows the film, so I think I want to reread it, but then I might decide to get rid of it after we'll have to see. 172 Hours on the Moon by John Harstead. I think I liked this. Yeah, I remember it having quite a dark side to it, and because I'm into that whole space thing again, I think I might want to reread this, so I'm going to keep it for now. We then have Elvis by the Presleys, which is all about Elvis told by some of his closest female family members. So you've got Priscilla, Lisa Marie, his cousin, and I will definitely keep this because it's one of those good little factual books about Elvis, so you can just pick up and read pretty quickly. So then we have The Missing by C.L. Taylor. This is obviously one of the books that I got when we were on holiday. I did quite like this. It was about a boy that went missing. I don't know if I want to keep it though. I don't know. Because it's this sort of thing that I forget what it's about and then I can reread it like with a fresh mind and still be surprised by it. I think I'll put that in the maybe pile. We have Afterworlds by Scott Westerfield. Again, I think I will put this in the maybe pile to go and look back at book review, because I can't really remember what it's about, but obviously it's not stuck in my mind that much that I want to keep it straight away, so I will see what I think of that. We then have Dare to Dream by Izzy Judd, which again I've recently read, and I really enjoyed it. This is actually my mum's book that I read after she'd read it. It's about how Izzy and Harry go through IVF and their journey and their struggle. This is something that maybe I would want to keep for the future when I'm going through a pregnancy. So I think I might hang on to it because it might be something I want to reread in the future. Yeah. We then have The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. I'm pretty sure I really disliked this. I feel like I really read through this really quickly just so I could finish it and get it over with. So I'm going to get rid of that, and it's a really big, blimmin' heavy book. We then have this trilogy of The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I have this and I have the first 3 books of The City of Bones, like the Mortal Instruments series. I'm not sure whether I will revisit this in the future. I really enjoyed all of the books that I've read so far from Cassandra Clare, and I know she's got a couple more books out that I might delve into. This is not my typical genre of book, like this sort of fantasy, almost like a mythical element to it. I might hang on to it for now, just in case I decide to come back to the series, or at least finish the Mortal Instruments, because I've only read 3 out of those books. So yeah, I'm going to keep them for now. So I've just shut the curtain, so hopefully that's made the lighting a bit better. So next I have all these Kingdom Keeper books. I have quite a few. I've read the whole first series and now they're coming out with a new series. I've got the other book somewhere. I don't think it's here. No, and I have read the first book of that. I really enjoy these Kingdom Keeper series by Ridley Pearson. They're all set at Disney. I've done quite a few that they've featured quite heavily in like reviews and favourite videos, so I'm going to keep them. There is a lot of them. I feel like I will keep them in case I want to reread them, because it's nice to read about Disney when you're not there. So I will keep these for now, and again I want to finish the rest of the series. Oh, I can see it's at the bottom of another stack, so I'll leave that there for now. We have these 3 books by Mary Lou, and this is the Legend series. It was okay. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I thought I would. One of these is a signed edition. I believe it's Champion, the 3rd one. I'm not quite sure. I will put that in a separate pile. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with my signed books that I don't think I'll ever reread again, so we shall see. And yeah, get rid of these 2. Then got this 1912 books facts about Titanic. We got this when we were in Tennessee at the Titanic museum, and it's signed to me. It's got my name in it, and when we went, so I think I'll keep this just for the fact And it is personal, it reminds me of that time, and it is an interesting fact book about the Titanic. So yeah, it's like one of those books that I feel like I'll keep, and then if my children ever decide to, like if they ever study the Titanic or anything, it's a good resource book to have as well, but also just a cool book to keep. Then I have Blog Ink. This is by Joe something Cho, not quite sure. I got this a couple years back when I thought I was going to run my blog, and it's really everything about creating a blog. That is currently not something that I want to pursue. I've had this book for a while and I've just not picked it up, and I feel a lot of this stuff is maybe you can just find it out online. I'm just gonna have a quick flick through to see if anything. I just don't see myself sitting down to read this again. As much as I want to start doing more like with my Etsy shop and on my YouTube and that sort of thing, I don't think this book is necessarily tailored straight up because it is more on the blogging side of things. So I think I will pass that on. We then have a very controversial set of 3 books, which before I even knew this, I thought, yeah, I'm going to get rid of these. This is the 3 books by Zoe Sugg. Over the last couple of months, I've sort of changed, not so much my opinion of her, but I sort of see her in a slightly different light. Ever since that, like, Advent calendar scandal, it's hard to know what is really her and what is other people's input, and there was a big thing at the time when these came out because they were ghostwritten. I don't think she's writing any more of these books. I don't know if I would necessarily want to pick up the following book. They're good books, I read them. They're definitely aimed at younger than me, I would say now. They're definitely not my style. One of these I believe is signed, I think, yeah, so the second one is signed, so I'll see if I can possibly get any money for that one, but the other 2 I will pass along. We then have Atlantia by Ali Condai, again another signed copy. I did like this book. It's a standalone book and I don't think there's any more of these coming out. I might just check Ali Condai's Goodreads to see if there's anything else. She's obviously the author of the Match series, which I'm pretty sure I no longer have because I got rid of those a while ago. So I'm gonna have a look on her Goodreads, but I'm not sure I would want to reread this again. It's all set underwater, and about like coming up to the land and that sort of thing. So I'll have a look into that. We then have Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell. This is one of those Red Eye series books. It was good, it was gripping, it was slightly weird and slightly horror. I don't think I will reread it again. It says warning not for young readers on the back. I just feel like I've read it, I don't really want to reread this again. We then have Sophie Helyn, My Not So Perfect Life. Again, this is a signed first edition, so again, not sure if it's worth something. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I want to reread this. It's very different, obviously, from her Shopaholic books. Sophie Helyn's books are really easy reads, but for me, not like one of my favourite authors. So again, see if I can get any money for that maybe, and then if not, just pass it on. We then have another sort of suspense mystery. This is Watching Edie by Camilla Way. Again, this was one of those books that really gripped me, but I'm struggling to remember it. Yeah, I do remember it. Again, not a book I think I want to reread. It's very rare that I will keep this sort of suspense mystery book. As much as they really grip me, not something I think I want to keep, so we'll pass that on, I think. I'm going to put it in the maybe pile actually for now, just for now. We then have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I definitely want to keep this. It is a gorgeous edition. It's like, not leather, but that sort of like pleather bound, just gorgeous with pink spine. This is a book that I feel I'd like to read to my children one day and just be really special. Really, really pretty book, so I'll keep that. Next we have The Stranger in My Home by Adele Parks. Again, another one of those sort of suspense mystery. Again, I feel like I'm gonna need to rewatch this back. No, I do remember what it is about, and it is fairly gripping, so I might keep that one. I'm not sure, because I did enjoy it. I'm just going to quickly go through these books. These are sort of like children's based. The first one isn't. This is John Grisham's Skipping Christmas. If you've seen Christmas with the Cranks, that's what this is. The film is based off, is this book. So yeah, gonna keep this because I think it's just a great sort of, even though I didn't read it this year, it's a great sort of Christmas time read, and also again another one to pass on and read to the children. And then I have these books which are like my children's books. We have two by Jeremy Strong, and these I got when I was really young. Jeremy Strong actually came into our school and signed them for us. Again, something that I want to keep and read and pass on to my children, so kept those. And also these books by Harry Horse I absolutely loved as a kid. Especially The Last Polar Bears is amazing, so sweet, and if you can manage to get a hold of the film anywhere of this, it is so adorable. So I'm going to keep those. We then have The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Again, an amazing book. I have read it a couple of times. I feel like it will be a book that I will read again in the future, and for that reason I will keep it. We have The Cellar by Natasha Preston, which I got not long ago when we were in Florida. Again, it's very similar to The Room, in the sense that all these girls get taken hostage in this cellar. I can't even remember how it ended. I'm going to put it in the maybe one, because as much as it gripped me and kept me in suspense, I'm not sure I want to read it again. I think I'd rather read A Room, so we shall see on that one. I have these three books which I've been slowly working my way around because I don't want to address them, and that is the Chemical Garden trilogy. I really have enjoyed these books. It's one of those dystopian series that I really have enjoyed and have kept because of that reason. And it's about girls that are sort of kidnapped and taken in to have children with this big like heir of this estate. And it is a very sweet series, a very sad series, but it is really gripping and I quite liked it. So I think it will be one of those that I might read again, but then pass on after that. So let's keep those up there. We have All We Have Left by Wendy Mills, and this is based around 9/11. Again, it's a book that I enjoyed. I don't know whether I will want to reread this again. It was good, it was interesting, but I don't know. So again, I'm gonna maybe pile it, and I'm definitely gonna have to go through these maybe books at the end because they're becoming too big a pile. The Snow Child by this author. I love this book. I've read it a couple of times now. It's one of those that you can take when you're like staying at a log cabin and really wrap yourself in. Darren and I are actually going on like a little getaway break, so I might take that with me because that'd be the perfect book to take. We have A New Model by Ashley Graham. I love Ashley Graham. This is a signed first edition. Definitely going to keep this. I think she's super inspiring and I love her. We have Odd Birds by Ian Harding. Again, another controversial book. It's a signed edition, but I didn't really enjoy the book and I know I'm not going to read it again. So we will see if we can get anything for that. We have Staying Strong, 365 Days a Year by Demi Lovato. I did complete this many years back, and I think this is maybe something that I would like to start off again. I don't think, like, this might be something I do a video on. I'm not like really low with my mental health at the moment, but I'm definitely struggling a little bit. I don't feel like I'm in the best place I can be, and maybe this book would help. I feel like it's just been sat on my shelf so long I've forgotten about it, but I think maybe this would be a good book to pick up again. If you don't know it, it's like a page a day of inspirational like quotes and little sayings and goals. So I think that might be something interesting to start up again. We then have Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. Again, a classic. Although it's not exactly like the film, again, I think it's one of those books that I'd like to keep to read to my children. We then have After Auschwitz by Eva Schloss, and again it's another like Auschwitz Holocaust based book. This is about the stepsister of Anne Frank. I can't quite remember this story, so I think I will keep it to read again, because I think I enjoyed it when I read it at the time, so I will keep that. We then have On the Other Side by Kerry Hope Fletcher. I didn't enjoy this book as much as I did. I know she's got a couple of other books out, which I don't think I've got any more of. No, I don't think so. It's not so much that I don't like her writing style, it's just not my cup of tea as far as like the plot lines are. So I'm going to pass that on. We have Bloom by Estee Lalonde. I love Estee, I love this book. It covers a really wide range of things and is something that I would like to pick up and read again, maybe fairly soon. We have Annexed by Sharon Dodger, and this is told by the point of view of Peter. And Peter is obviously the boy that was stayed with Anne Frank and her family in the annex. I really enjoy this book. It's definitely a really great different perspective of that time in the annex, so I'm going to keep that. We have Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I really enjoyed this book, really enjoyed the film. It's one of those really heart-wrenching ones. I'm not sure if I will want to read this again, so I'm gonna again put it in the maybe pile, and I think when I go through the maybe pile again I will do that whole like hold it close to your chest and see if it really sparks joy. We have The Teen's Guide to World Domination by Josh Shipp. Josh Shipp is a really like influential, inspirational guy that works with a lot of teenagers and young people to make them the best people he can be. I have read this and I enjoyed it. I feel maybe I'm slightly too old for this because I'm not a teen anymore, but I think this is something I'd like to keep for future children. As well as that, I also have the book Jump Ship that he wrote. Try not to make sure everything falls, which is about ditching your dead-end job and turn your passion into a profession, which I think is what I need to read right now actually. That looks a really good book for me to read now, so I'm going to keep those two. We then have Diary of a Mad Diva by Joan Rivers. I love Joan Rivers, this hilarious book. It's a signed copy, definitely one I want to keep and read in the future. I just love Joan Rivers. And then going along with that, I also have The Book of Joan by Melissa Rivers, which again is another good book to read if you're interested in Joan Rivers, because it talks a lot about her as well. And again, a book that I want to keep. We then have Desilu. This is a story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. I love this couple. Like, I love everything to do with them, and I love Lucy, so I'm definitely keeping that. And then a very treasured book is this one. This is a book by Desi Arnaz. This is a super hard book to find. This is his autobiography, and I had to purchase it secondhand because they no longer print it, which is a real shame. But I love this book, and it's slightly worse for wear, but I love it. We then have two books by Kate Morton, and I do like these books. They're sort of set over different time periods. So we've got The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton and House at Riverton. I really want to read the rest of them, and look how gorgeous these books are. So is it bad I want to keep them for their spines? Yes, but currently I want to keep them because they spark joy just for looking at them. We then have this series, which is the Alchemist series, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. I've read all of these. I don't know if I really want to read these again, to be honest. I think they're more middle grade, and they're a lot of time to invest in to read all these. And like I said, I've read them all before. I liked them, but I think maybe it's time to let these go. I don't know, I feel like I should keep them and try and at least read the first book, and then if I'm like not into it anymore, I shall get rid of them. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and read the first book again, and if I get gripped into it, then now I know that's a sign I need to keep them. We then have these three books, which are Quarantine. These are the Quarantine series by Lex Thomas, and it's sort of set in school, and obviously they've been quarantined. I really enjoyed the first book, and then it sort of does taper off a little bit for the second and third. I think I will get rid of them. As much as I do like the first book, I feel like there's no point keeping it to reread and then not have the other two, because I didn't like them as much. But if you're looking for like a new dystopian series, I would really recommend this one, because it's really cool the way it's set in a school and how like they're all going about it, like trying to survive basically. So again, a hard one. I think I will put in the maybe pile and try and be a bit more ruthless. Yeah, God, doing an awful job. We then have some more sort of mystery books. We've got 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. I couldn't get into this. I can't get into this series on Netflix either. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then we have 2 books by C.L. Taylor. We have The Accident and The Escape. I enjoy these. I enjoy C.L. Taylor's work. I want to read some more of her stuff. Again, I've got her other book in the maybe pile, so I'm going to put those with them as well and see what I think. Whether I just want to keep one, not sure. We then have Truly Madly Guilty by Liane Moriarty. I think I will pass this one on. I also have Big Little Lies, which I think I want to keep, because that is obviously, in my, I mean, I've not read them all, but in my opinion it's the best one she's done, so I'm going to keep that. I'm sure I've got another one by her somewhere. Yeah, The Husband's Secret. The Husband's Secret I don't think I liked as much, so I'm going to pass that one on. Truly Madly Guilty, I'm on the fence on, because it was really good, but I don't know. I might keep it, because I think if I leave it long enough I'll forget what the ending's like and then want to reread it, so that's what I'm going to do. We have The Orphan's Tale by Pam Jenoff. Again, I like this, but I don't know if I want to keep it, to reread it. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass this on. I liked it, but I'm not sure I will reread it. But if you like sort of World War II books, it's a nice different book. It's like goes off to a circus, things like that. I'm going to maybe pile it. I'm useless at this. And then we have The Lost Art of Letter Writing, which I know I'm not going to read again. I wasn't overly thrilled by it, so that's that. I have this little book, which is actually Dan's. It's West Ham United on this day, and it's like personalised. So let's see what happened in West Ham history on this day. What is the day? The 14th. So not that you care. Yeah, Darren very rarely looks at this. Oh, Teddy Sheringham. But yeah, it is his book, so I won't get rid of that. I will see what he thinks about that. We have Casting Off, which again is a book I've not long read, by P.I. Paris, about like these people in a care home who are trying to like save their stay basically, because they want to put the fees up. I like this, it was nice. It's also got knitting on the front, but I don't think I'm gonna want to reread it, but I want to maybe pile it. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Right, I'm gonna definitely have to go through this at some point and be more ruthless. P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. I'm gonna keep that. It's one of my favourite films, and I love the book. It's very similar to it, to the film. I'm gonna keep that. And then I've come to that other book by Ridley Pearson, so keep that. I should really get the rest of those books. Then we have Disclaimer by Renee Knight. Off the bat of it, I have no idea what it's about. I cannot remember. Yeah, I can sort of remember. Again, I'm going to put it in the maybe pile and have a look at my review on that. We have Origin by Jessica Curry. And this is set in the Amazon forest, and it's about these people that are wanting to try and get like the ultimate race, I feel. I'm gonna pass this on. Yeah, let's just do it. We have Replica by Lauren Oliver. I'm not sure if this is a series or going to be a series or not. Two Girls, Two Stories, One Epic Novel. I will double check if it is like part of a series. I will keep it. If not, I will get rid of it because I don't need it that badly. Like I don't know. It was a good book, but I'm not overly thrilled by it, so I will just double check that before I get rid of it. We then have the Divergent series, which I feel I should keep to, because I might want to reread again, and I really like this series. It's one of my favourite dystopians, as well as the Hunger Games. Obviously I'm going to keep, I really hate these covers that I've got for them though, like blimmin' awful covers, but yeah, I'm going to keep those for now. So let's just pop these to the side, like that. We have the City of Bones series, well, the first 3. Again, going to see if I'm going to reread them, and if not, pass it on. I feel 2018 might be the book of reread, like the year of rereads, so we shall see. And then in my last like book declutter, I got a lot of books by Philippa Gregory. These are the only 2 I have left, The White Queen and The Red Queen. I do like them, but I don't know if I'm going to go reread them. I don't really like any other history, like Tudor and Edwardian books sort of like this. I mainly got them at the time because Elle Fowler, All That Glitters 21, reviewed them, liked them, and like I said, I like the first 2 books. These are definitely like my favourite 2, hence why I've kept them. And it's sort of like the wars between the white side and the red side. I feel I'm going to get rid of them because I don't read this type of book anymore. We then have Across the Universe by Beth Revis, the series. I really like this. I do really like the way it's written and the concept of it, so I'm going to keep that. We have The Honeymoon by Tina Seskis, which I've not long read. So it's about a woman that goes on a honeymoon and her husband actually goes missing. Really shocking ending, but I'm not going to reread this because I feel like that ending will stick in my mind and I will never be able to forget that. Definitely a good mystery book if you want one, especially like going on holiday. That's a good one. We have Rascal by Sterling North. I really want to keep this. It's about a boy that keeps a raccoon as a pet. It's quite an old book, but again, a book I think I'd like to keep for my children one day. We have Sleepless by Lou Morgan. Again, another one of those Red Eye series books. A good book, another like mystery books, like with this slightly dark element to it. But again, I don't think I'm going to reread that, so that is going. We have The Shop on Blossom Street by Debbie McNamara. Also, I have a good yarn. These are set in like knitting shops. I've got another book to read, so I'm going to keep them for now. We then have this book, again, that I've been trying to work my way around, and it's the Selection series. I have quite a few of these books. So I believe it goes the Selection, the Elite, the One, the Heir, and then the Crown. And then you've got the Prince and the Guard, and Happily Ever After, which is a companion series. These are beautiful books about a selection process of a prince that wants to, it's like written in that every time they need a new prince or a new queen, that they put in a selection for it, and this girl called America, her name gets picked out for the selection, and it follows her journey through. And then the end books, like The Crown, is about the next generation after that. So I think I'll keep these because I'll be curious to see if they do any more. And these are beautiful books that will look really nice on my shelf. So yeah, I'm going to keep those for now. And then we have a few smaller books. So we have 10 Things I Hate About You, which is my favourite film, so definitely keeping that. We have Anne Frank's diary, which is completely a beaten up edition. I used to take this to school to read, and so it's an old book, but I love it. I love everything Anne Frank, like, she now stands for. and if you've not read it, it's a book you have to read in your lifetime. And then I have Charlie St. Cloud, which again, I feel I want to reread. I don't think I've even seen the film, so maybe I'll read this and then watch the film. We might have the film. I know it's slightly sad. I love Zac Efron. So again, a book that I feel I should pick up and reread because I've not for ages, and I've kept it for ages. So these are the last 4 books before I go into my Agatha Christie books. We have Love Lucy, which is Lucille Ball's sort of little autobiography. Obviously I'm going to keep that. We have The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. Really love this book, it's a beautiful book. And then we have The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up and Spark Joy by Marie Kondo. Obviously I'm going to keep these to keep rereading in the future, and it's like the whole reason I'm doing this declutter. And then we have my Agatha Christie books. I'm on the fence as to whether I want to keep these so I have a nice large collection, or if I want to get rid of them. Let's see if I can twirl you around so you can see. I've got a new tripod, so I'm just trying to figure that out. So those are my books there that I have of Agatha Christie. Some of them I know I probably won't reread that much, like anytime soon. My absolute favourite is And Then There Were None. I love that. Mystery on the Blue Train is really good. Dumb Witness is really good. I mean, Agatha Christie is really good. So I think I will keep these all for now. Now I've got some space to properly show them. I think it would be nice to sort of have that little library of Agatha Christie books because she is so, like, such a talented author. Let's see if I can put you back up. Oh, it's very zoomed in. Oh, more zoomed in. What am I doing? So I think I will pop these books back on the shelf so I can get an idea of how much I've got left. Go through this maybe pile because that is ridiculously too big, and yeah. And then I'll regroup and come back to you. So I've just probably spent about half an hour to an hour going through and whittling down my maybe list, and I've done pretty well. I've only kept... Okay, I've kept 7 out of that. So I've kept All We Have Left, The Orphan's Tale, 1, which is about conjoined twins, The Memory Book, The Missing, The Cellar, and Me Before You, because they're all quite unique books. And then I've gotten rid of the Quarantine series because I don't think I'll read those again. The Escape, Disclaimer, The Stranger in My House, The Accident, Casting Off, Watching Edie, Afterworld, and Replica by Lauren Oliver. Now Replica, I said I wanted to look up to see if it was a series. They have brought out another one at the end of last year, but I just don't think I want to go and reread Replica to know what the next book is. I tend to try not to get into series unless most of the series is out. And also I'm going to get rid of Atlantia by Ali Condé, but that is assigned one, so I've put that in my separate pile. So I'm going to pop these on my shelf to try and find them, show you what my bookshelf looks like, and total up how many books I'm wanting to get rid of. I've done fairly well. I'm hoping that I will go to reread some of these books, like the larger series, and then want to get rid of them, because that's what I mostly have and is taking up a lot of room, is these series that I'm not sure if I want to reread or not. So yeah, let's sort this out and then I'll come back to you. Counted out my books. These are all the ones I'm getting rid of. So there's about 31 books here, plus my signed ones that I want to get rid of. So I'm pretty happy with that I've managed to go through that. I might take a picture of them and send them to my friend and see if she wants any of them, and then the rest of them I can take to like a recycling bank. But I will show you what my bookshelf looks like now. It's not perfect. In the future I definitely want to hopefully get rid of a little less of these, and I've left that bottom shelf with the coffee table-y books for another day because I really wanted to focus on like my reading fictional and biographies. So yes, I'm just gonna pop these down here. I'm not quite sure where to put this box set, so I might just leave it there. And then I've got Darren's book, which I will pop in here as well. Let's see, I can just go in there. So I will take you from the top and work our way down. So on the top, again, we've just got them piled up, but I've put my 2 sort of biggest series, So The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel and the Kingdom Keepers, as well as all my Agatha Christie up there, and then those are the ones that I've literally just put up that room that I just sorted out. We have some more series here, so we have Divergent, Hunger Games and Across the Universe. We have like more sort of fantasy ones, so we have the Selection series and the Infernal Devices. Is that what it's called? No, maybe not, but the Wither one by Lauren DiStefano. And then I've got my 2 Kate Morton ones there just because it looks pretty. And then we have the rest of my sort of fictional ones, so they're in no particular order really, and then I have some of my children's books down here. And then this is where I mean there is room to sort of stack these if I want to, but I sort of wanted to break it up a bit. These are more sort of autobiographies based on real people, that sort of thing, so that's all there. And yeah, that is sort of where we are at now with my bookshelf. I feel it's a lot better. There's not books in front of other books. It's only a matter of time though before there is, but I just want to get into the habit of sorting out my books more regularly. I looked on my YouTube and the last time I did this was last January, so it was very much overdue, because I did it in January before we moved house. Can you believe we're coming up to a year now in this new house? So I hope you enjoyed this book declutter. It's probably been a very long video, but I've enjoyed doing it. It's very cathartic to do it, and I think I might go sort out my makeup now, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.